They're making me fix the lights. This ain't no union job. This ain't no union job. What's going on,
Please
my
talk
friend?
to please talk to your union rep in that case, not me.
There you go. What's going on in your world? I had like a asthma attack 3 days ago. I haven't had one in like maybe a year and a half, and it's still just lingering on. Oh,
Oh
joy.
wow. A couple of people I spoke to in OKC, all of them have like their allergy attacks at the same time. I guess it's your
Well,
weather.
so the tornadoes just whip up a bunch of dirt, debris, and everything else. And I honestly haven't had any issues. You remember how bad this stuff used to be, and that's what it feels like. So I have this friend of mine, she's like, well, you need to go to the doctor. I'm like, I've been to the doctor. I know what it is. We're good.
Did you say I've been to every doctor possible?
Well, you know, I didn't even like to explain it to people because they think magically some other person's going to have an answer. And you just go, my family's got lung issues as we get older. You know, I'll tell you what's weird, though. This time I had joint pain like I have never experienced while it was happening. I mean, it was a little bit different, but you just go, holy crud, I don't know what that was, but that was new. That was so if I was going to go to a doctor, it wouldn't be a waste of $150. I could go, yeah, I had joint pain. They'll go, it has nothing to do with it. And I go, it may not, but that's what happened, as I say on everything. But that's what happened. So, what's going on?
It's basically even, I think the weather change here, where I woke up with like a partial migraine.
Same shit. But there's no, so you know, in Florida, it's illegal to talk about climate change on the air or at the State House.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's on the air because I don't think you can control that. Maybe at the State House. You should look that law up. Oh yeah, I mean, we are literally turning into a third world country in these bottom 10 states. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Speaking about our videos on YouTube, so yesterday there's a comedian called Liz Mealy. Okay, she has a new show called Murder Sheets.
Okay.
Which she produced herself, Sean. So she basically spent money and shot it herself. Instead of finding a distributor or somebody to buy it, she just put it on YouTube to make money off the ad revenue.
Yeah.
After a week,
monetized it.
Yeah, like a week in, YouTube flagged that video saying that it had hate speech. It's a stand-up comedy special. So now she doesn't make money off it. But here's the funny part. YouTube still makes money in ad revenue on those things. They just don't give it to you. They give you only a small percentage of it.
That sucks.
Yeah, and this we do, and they do that for a living, and basically YouTube has a monopoly on it, so it really doesn't make a difference.
So I was doing an ad on Facebook for Vito's, one of our restaurants, and they wanted me to run it through an Apple app, which took 25% of the money. So I went and did it on my home computer instead of my phone, and Apple didn't get any. Just so people know, there's ways around all this stuff, but most of them don't have a friend like you that they can call and go, hey, I'm getting ripped off over. And you go, here's 3 things you can do. Diana figured it out. But 25% of ad revenue. I mean, holy crud.
It's because of the antitrust cases in the US. No, it would have been in Europe. The EU was the one who told them to lower it because earlier it used to be 50% or 45%, something like that.
Holy, seriously?
Yeah, and they have a monopoly, right? If you need an Apple user to use an application that you have built, you have to go through the verification process on the App Store, which means that agree to the terms and conditions that they get a cut out of everything that anybody buys within that application. Same thing was happening with the Android systems because you had to go through Google Play Store. So both of them just got a piece of the pie, whether they invented the app or not.
Wow. God, that's crazy. Oh, well, modern economy, my man, modern economy. I don't know what to tell you on that. Hey, did you see my article in The Advocate?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So I have been, The Advocate, for people who don't know, is a magazine originally designed for the gay lifestyle, whichever. I've actually ended up in there twice over Oklahoma State school board stuff, not over anything having to do with their regular stuff. Yeah, and that was a good quote. I mean, they pull out some fun stuff. They're not afraid to stretch it a little bit.
I will leave a link for that article in case anyone wants to check it.
There you go. It's pretty good. The Advocate. But life here is settling in a bit. You know, you know what I mean? settling in a bit. We're rolling into summer. It's hot. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hot over there all the time, so I know I'm complaining to the wrong person. The bottomless complaint box. Tell me what's going on over there, because over here we are ramping up for an election, and I'm not going to get into politics so we don't get flagged for it, but you know,
I'm pretty sure just
it's
mentioning the word politics gets us flagged.
isn't that crazy? All right, we'll drop the word out. What else would you? What do you want to chat about today, my man?
To be honest with you, I'm fine with talking about it for the sole reason that I think our elections conclude on June 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours do over there? Okay. So ours, we have some state stuff on June 18th, and then the big election in November. And hey, man, they got through Donald Trump's trial really pretty quickly. And his rabid fans are, you know, out threatening people. This same old thing. The irony is I'm waiting for the day they actually do something rather than just talking about it. But I think most of his real rabid fans were at January 6th at the Capitol, and they're probably still in jail.
Oh, yeah.
That's my guess.
There might be a percentage of those really fanatical guys who are just locked up. Yeah.
I mean, a whole bunch of them. Because, you know, some of the, and what ends up happening, like if you're in a group and people think you're all in until somebody gets a 20-year prison sentence, and you go, dude, I got a wife and family. I can't be doing this. You know. So are you familiar with this thing, Project 2025? Do you know anything about it?
No.
Okay. So the Trump part of the American Republican Party has this deal called Project 2025, and it's all the government entities they want to get rid of. And then things they want to do differently, which would basically remove freedom of speech. If there were any kind of a protest, they send the military in immediately. They don't send the police or anybody. Right? Oh yeah, this is some crazy shit, and it's a booklet. So take a little bit of time and read it. And you may want to share the PDF file with everybody just so they can get a good read. The reason I say that is like Moms for Liberty, MFL. I got to say MFL, or we get taken off of TikTok. Isn't that crazy?
I know.
God. So, but they're in there. So OCPAC, Oklahoma Conservative PAC is in there. I mean, a lot of people here, not a lot. It's unfair to say that. People I am up against all the time are in this 2025 thing. And what they're all trying to do is basically they're going, it's okay if we have a dictator as long as we're in with them. And these are the things we're getting ready to get rid of. And they're going to get rid of the Department of Education. I mean, the Department of Justice, all these other weird, and you go, so who's going to be the police? And you go, well, you know, they get to appoint people to all those positions. And you go, you know, this is all over the world. It's not new. Yeah, I mean, it's a legitimate concern if they pull it off. But once again, I would say there's too many dead old white people. I don't think the guy can win.
Yeah, it's almost like I just trying to set up a oligarchy type system in a weird way. In
the clear, though, going, hey, this is what I'm going to do. You want in? Come on. But the I don't know. I hope this is just a phase in our history, but seeing as I'm stuck right in the middle of it, it's kind of fascinating. But I did a fundraiser for Senator Connie Johnson. Do you remember Connie?
Yep. Black
female senator, and she would always get on national news because when people would do something stupid, she would go, "Oh, I will outdo you, but I'm calling national news first." I think she was on Jon Stewart. You know, she was on some national programs. So I did a fundraiser for her, but literally a group of people at the fundraiser were like, well, man, what are you going to run for next? And all this stuff. And I go, I don't know, but I don't want to disappoint you. If I do anything, I'm going to run as an independent. I'm not, Democratic Party's dead here. I just don't see it as a viable option anymore. And they're all like, but you could run for head of the Democratic Party. And I go, no, I tried to help you guys out a few years ago. You said, no, I'm good. I moved on. You guys need to move on. I've moved on. But no, it's going to open this. And I go, I don't think it's fixable anymore. I thought it was fixable then. I had that conversation more than a few times in one night at a political party, which was a little weird.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
like that when you ran back then, there were quite a few people that I remember like not for it. And now it's come
Right.
full circle when now they're asking you to step up and do it. I was like,
And that's what they were saying. Well, I voted for your opponent. And I go, yeah, well, you got her. How'd that work out? Like, yeah, but now, and I go, no, I'm not like somebody's second date. It's not how it works. And when I tried to explain to him, I go, I'm 61. I'm not here to rebuild a party that doesn't want people like me. I mean, I don't want them.
Sean,
You guys are on your own.
you're like the last branch for them to hold on to before they hit the ground.
Right. I think I got one. Yeah, and I'm not mad at anybody. So if anybody from here is listening in, I'm not mad at anybody at all. You know, you made your choices, and we're all living with them. And what we've ended up with here is an attempt at being an oligarchy over not having a two-party system viable in our state. That's some crazy shit. So is yours as interesting as ours over there?
Oh, ours is. It'll be entertaining for you to watch as an outsider, considering that there are thousands of parties throughout India.
Isn't that wild?
And you basically, similar to it, ours is a hybrid, right? Because our country was, I think our constitution was written way later. So the people who wrote our constitution got like picked and choose different parts of other constitutions to kind of incorporate. So it's more of a
before copy and paste.
Before copy and paste for someone had to actually read the damn thing.
Right.
So it's more a parliamentary system. So you do have to form like coalitions and stuff, which is what was fascinating about the last time that Modi came into power, was when that was the first time where someone won the majority without having to form a coalition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's why it was able to go specifically in one direction. You didn't have to divvy up parts. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a Netflix series called BORGEN, BORGEN, and it's based on but it's like some Nordic country. But it's got subtitles. And I'd recommend anybody, if you're a political person, to watch it and watch how their stuff gets put together and how it falls apart. Because it falls apart the same way. Because if enough of your people get angry with you, you know, if the Green Party gets mad and moves on, they go to somebody else and they just get that whole block. I mean, that was probably a great education, and it's a female in power, which probably rarely happens there also. So, wow, crazy stuff, bro.
Yeah, it's just like weird news stories that people keep asking me about. So the other city that I have the office in that I work out of, right? So a couple of weeks ago, there was like this huge like the club staying open longer than their deadline type thing, and the cops trying to crack down on that. And in between all of this, some dude in a Porsche basically just ran over two kids on a motorcycle, killed him.
Wow.
I think he fled the scene or something like that, and they paid like a department head to alter the forensic reports. And it's like a really bad written crime series. I'm pretty sure Netflix will pick it up and do some documentary thing. Then I think they abducted the driver and made the driver confess that he was the actual one behind the wheel. And it is like, yeah, Sean, this is like all the makings of a Bollywood movie.
Wow. And the dance scenes will be in between?
Probably. Yeah, but those poor kids, they just died, and this family is rich enough where they basically are paying people off left, right, and center to kind of avoid this whole thing. But I guess with media scrutiny, it might be something. Some of this nobody would have known about it, but now people actually are aware of the story going on. And that's like the worst part, right? Anything horrible happens in Oklahoma, people ask me. In Pune, they'll ask me. Bangalore, they'll ask me. I'm like, dude, just leave me alone. Why don't you tell me anything nice that happens?
Well, I think on something like that, they see that you have a reach elsewhere. You know, maybe you can bring in some outside forces. Look, at the Ringling, Oklahoma here, where I've had all the trouble to get rid of the coach, and he went to court and pled guilty, but then withdrew his plea. Hey, man, they gave his wife an emergency teaching license. She's not even a teacher. A week ago, or a last meeting, and it was just in with like 30 other people. Nobody even bothered to read the names. So he is maintaining his little circle, but a whole bunch of people have quit and stuff. Once all of that gets exposed, it usually falls apart. You just don't see it falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like those folks are probably calling the people they bribed and they're like, hey, man, you're still with me, right? They're like, well, hold on for a minute. Put the recorder up to the phone. What'd you say? If you gave him 100, you know, I don't even know how many rupees is a lot of money. 20,000 rupees, somebody else will get 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it's just a bidding war.
Yeah.
So even if you're rich enough, they eventually resent you because you were rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they may take your money and still snitch you out.
There is that weird, oh shit, there is a name for this. It was coined by John Nash when he was coming up with game theory. The example that he gives is that you have stolen this really expensive diamond, but this gangster wants it from you. So game theory would dictate that you're scared that you'll get attacked or whatever. So you tell the gangster, I'm going to go leave this place here, the diamond here. You go to this field and you leave the money there. And we'll both call each other and tell us the locations. Right. Now you realize when you're driving there that, oh shit, what if he goes there and doesn't leave the money? And I'm just standing in that field. He gets my diamond.
And they kill you.
I don't get the money type thing. So basically it's about how human nature is to screw each other over. And that is what causes the equilibrium. That was his theory of like the most worst part of humanity.
Hey, I think that's pretty valid. I mean, think about the fact that you have to teach ethics in college.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you haven't learned them by the time you're 5, it's over. You don't get to relearn them. What they teach you is how to look like you're ethical. That's not real ethics. That's how to look ethical.
Do you think it helps that people who like didn't really get raised much by, or their parents went around, stuff like that? Does it help them to learn ethics in university? I don't know.
I don't know. I am in the Bible Belt, so you would think everybody was ethical, right?
Yeah, you would be surprised that those tend to be the hot spots of unethical behavior.
Right. Yeah. And I've met more swingers here. It's not my thing. I don't care what anybody's into, but it's not my thing. More here per capita than I have anywhere else.
Nice.
And I kind of look at it and go, okay, hey, man, whatever you're into, it's not my thing, you know. Yeah.
I just hung out with you, so my life became boring when I was there. Otherwise, I would have been in all these hotspots of debauchery.
Well, and what's weird, you know, there's part of me that goes, I think it's interesting that people are so comfortable with me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't need to be so comfortable, you know, maybe just a little less comfortable. But my view on stuff like that is I do it like anything. Take the flattery and just go, hey, thanks, but you know, it's just not my deal. Mm-hmm. I like to disappoint one person at a time. Yeah. I don't need to multiply that out. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know how we got to that, bro. You know, you're going to get flagged for that stuff. So let's see if there's anything else exciting happening here. The mayor and I were having a little spat over the county jail, and as soon as we had the spat, I have never heard a word from him since.
Mm-hmm.
And then the jail got voted down by city council.
Yeah,
like the next week. So the power players here are gonna. I guess now they have to force feed it. So you know, we've got about like. In my hometown, we had a few families that were really, really wealthy and they owned a lot of industry, but they didn't treat other people like crap. They were really good corporate citizens. And I don't feel that way here. But I'm waiting to see how they try to force feed this thing because nobody wants this stupid, pitiful jail. And the only reason the whole thing is a subject matter is because of my friends and myself. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they would have just slid it in anywhere. So I am getting a little more notoriety than I'm comfortable with locally at this point. So, yeah. Pretty fascinating. Yeah.
That is a weird problem for you to have, no, as a bar owner.
Right. Well, and I don't necessarily mind being known you can't control the narrative anymore. You know, I mean, if anybody says anything bad anymore, I don't necessarily say, no, you're wrong. I just go punch them back, you know. Not in a literal sense, but you know, through media or something else. Yeah, but it's my ears are itching a lot, which means people are talking about me, and it isn't my ego. It's for real. But I don't know where they go with the jail thing next. And I'm sure people that have listened to us for quite a while know this is just an issue here. We have the worst jail in America, and they're trying to force these people in the neighborhood to allow it to be put in their backyard. And they were all like, "We're not doing it." Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. I want to believe that I'm part of people standing up for themselves. You know, they saw us do it and not get shot down. They saw us do it another time, not get shot down. So I think people are feeling a little empowered. Do you think I'm crazy on that one, or you think it might be accurate?
No, it might be accurate. Like, I'm pretty sure that if you and the group of people you have that have been drawing attention to at the jail, if you guys hadn't been doing this for what now, 3-4 years now, almost, yeah, they would have just got it passed without anybody knowing anything about it. They would have just seen, you guys would have figured it out when someone started construction.
Yeah. God, isn't that the truth? Yeah, nobody would have even shown up to any of the meetings. I mean, it really is fascinating to see what you can do by yourself. And you know, anyone interested in politics, start at city council. You can win a city council seat. Nobody wants the job. Yeah. They really don't. It's honestly very boring. You know, I made it exciting. Do what?
I said doesn't pay much at all.
No, 25 bucks a month for all of the people thinking you're now the complaint box. But it's a great place to start and find out how your city works, and then how your state works, and how your region works, because it really does. It's fun. I mean, I've had a good time with it, even though the job itself is boring as hell.
I hope some mini despot who is listening to this doesn't go join city council just to figure out how to turn the system upside down.
You know, what's funny, I think people thought I was going to do that when I got to the city. And I'm like, no, I just want a better city. I live here. I want a better place to live. And I think we did a pretty solid job fixing the place up. I mean, God knows it looks better than it used to.
Yeah, you would do a good job, because we don't believe in shitting where we eat.
That's right. Yeah. And that's all there is to the whole thing. Just don't shit where you eat. It's not that hard. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. And we're into the summer season, pub wise and vetoes wise, and you know, I mean, life is good. Have I told you my graveside story? Do you want to hear this stuff?
Sure. Since we're going to depress, might as well.
No, it's not depressing. It's actually funny, because this was an idea for other people. So, you know, after people are in the ground, you want to go by and see if it's being tended to. This is an old cemetery, so I went down to the city market and bought some seeds and shit, and planted herbs and a bunch of other stuff, and we had a nice rain that afternoon. I'm like, okay, this will probably work out. So it was Memorial Day, and I have relatives over there, and they took pictures, and I'm like, yep, I think I'm okay. But there's no, they say you can't plant anything. You know, you can't bring outside. You can throw some mint down there so everything smells better when you're out. You know, I mean, it isn't like they do weed control or anything. You know, it's like 120 or 150-year-old cemetery, which I know is not old in India, but it's old here. But you burn everybody, right?
It depends. We do have burial grounds as well. Like in my old neighborhood, there is like an old British cemetery where you'd see like, but you'll see like these like fabulous like angels as the tombstone on all the like those must be like the generals or someone who were here, colonels, I guess.
They're still trying to look good in the afterlife.
Yeah, for fuck knows who.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just different, but it's a good idea. It's just something to be able to do. I mean, and I mean that in all sincerity. You're not being mean or anything else, but you know what they like. And there's nobody really watches. So it isn't like you're on video planting seeds, you know, if you're any good at it. Anyway.
Can I tell you the first thing that crossed my mind when you told me that you put seeds over the grave? I asked you that even Kathy would have found it hilarious if he threw like basil and parsley seeds out there.
I did.
You did?
I did. Oh yeah. I just have to see what comes up, because I was early in the planting season, but the timing should have been pretty good. We just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
They're 300 miles north of here, so that growth schedule is different than ours. Like, we're in full bloom here. That's why my allergies are getting me and everything else. But yeah, it'll be fun to see how it works out. I'm all good. But if somebody came over and ran a mower over it 2 days later, it's all over. You know, it got dispersed somewhere else.
Yeah.
Crazy town, my man. Hey, I am watching a hilarious Irish comedy on Netflix, and oh my God, I can't remember the name of the city, but he begins with a B. Bogden, Bogdon, Bogdon. Fantastic. It's a podcaster that goes to Ireland to cover a 20-year-old mystery.
Oh, I did see the trailer for this, but I didn't. Okay, I'm going to check that out.
It's brilliant for anybody that's interested. It is brilliant. And it's really well written, really well acted. And you only have like, I think 7 parts to the series and it's over. But it's solid. Yeah. Check that one out.
That's the one thing nice about the British shows where they wrap things up in 6 to 8 episodes as well.
Yeah, right. Well, and move on to the next thing. I mean, they spent a lot of money on this thing, especially the party scenes and stuff at the end. I can't imagine how much they had to spend on it. But it tied in the Catholic nunnery and all this other stuff that you wouldn't have expected to be tied into an average Irish story. Yeah, pretty solid.
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah. Crazy town, man. Crazy town.